What is going on, guys? Alex and Lane here. I hope that you're all keeping well. Before anything else, I just feel like I owe you all a bit of an apology. It feels like it's been a while since I shot some content or just had a conversation with everyone. So I decided to jump back on, get back in the rhythm, and just start firing on all cylinders, as I love to do, right? So I really spent the last 12 weeks have been focused solely on the launch of mysalesagency.com. A lot of you who know me know that that's just kind of been the thing for the last, well, it's more than 12 weeks now. Just put blood, sweat and tears into it, and then just felt I needed to take a little bit of time out just to really press reset, get my mind recentered, think about what type of content do I want to put out, and really just what the next few months are going to look like. So I wanted to do this video just to, one, update you, and two, just kind of walk through some of the lessons learned starting a brand new online business within 12 weeks, letting you know how the launch went, what I would have done differently, and ultimately, I guess, whether I'd recommend someone else to do a similar kind of thing. So let me dive right into it. So as I say, 12 weeks ago, took the decision I wanted to start an online business because I've been doing consulting for a long time, working with businesses, working with clients to help them scale their sales results. And it's phenomenal, right? I absolutely love it. It pays very, very well. And there's some really great and successful clients out there off the back of it. So big tick in a box, right? But the other side of it is that I realized that in order for me to create an environment and a future that really I want, I need to also have a business that I can scale infinitely, and one that really allows me to either earn while I sleep or start to build out a team where actually the product or the offering itself, because it's online and it's digital, you can sell 100, you can sell 1 million, you could sell 1 billion, and it doesn't really make a difference in terms of what's required of you. Of course, the servicing and the fulfillment and stuff like that does. So that was like my thought process behind it. I thought the consulting work is going amazingly well, but I want to add another string to my bow. And for me, there's only ever really two business types to start. It's a service-based business like an agency or a consulting firm, because the startup costs are super low. You package up your knowledge or your expertise and then you go out and take it to a market. Phenomenal business model. And the other one is online. It's infinitely scalable. Once you start it up, it tends to live online forever, and it means that you can make money while you sleep, right? So both businesses are kind of no-brainers, but in slightly different ways. So this one was all about building an online business that I could scale. So mysalesagency.com is all about taking someone from being a complete beginner to a competent enough sales professional that they can package that up and then take that knowledge and that expertise to help customers build their own businesses, basically, in a nutshell. So how did launch go first and foremost? Launch went great. In terms of revenue, we done several $1,000s. I price everything in dollars, even though I'm a Brit. And in terms of where we're at today, just 2 weeks on, we're now coming up to 5 figures in revenue. So when I look at it from that perspective, it was an extremely successful launch for a brand new business that no one knew about at all. I always set very high goals, so of course I wanted to do even better than that. But I think the main thing is that there's some great students in the program, great energy and enthusiasm, and I think a ton of potential to really take it somewhere significant in the future. So that's all exciting. I'm pleased with that, and I'm looking forward to the future. So just in terms of some of the lessons that I probably learned and things that I would do differently. The first thing is, and just bear in mind, this is all a complete freestyle off the top of my head, so bear with me. But the first thing I would probably say is it was a heavy lift up front, because there was a lot of tools and systems and resources and integrations that needed to happen at the back end. And when you're building any online business, whether it's e-commerce, whether it's an online course, ebook, there's often multiple systems involved. Even things like building up a follow-up email sequence. So once someone's bought or they've enrolled, having an email sequence to follow. All of these things are different software applications. They require sometimes certain expertise. And I'm quite fortunate that I've always been a bit of a techie as much as I'm a salesperson. And so because of that, I kind of generally knew what I had to do, but where I outsourced work or got support, I knew how to hold people accountable because of my own pre-existing knowledge. So I certainly did not know everything. I learned an absolute ton along the journey, but I knew enough that I could kind of hold people accountable and make sure that I progressed. So the real lesson though from all of that is I think I could have been a little bit better prepared in terms of really understanding what it was going to take from a tools and a resource perspective, and that comes down to planning. I think if I had a clearer project plan, especially because it was over 12 weeks, I would have been much more effective in just being ready and not having to be so reactive to certain things. So that was probably one of my biggest first lessons. I think the second thing is realizing that when you're launching any business, it is really, really important to start to build demand early. And as much as I did that, I think I was a little bit late to the party and probably wasn't crystal clear about doing something dynamic or exciting enough to get people hooked on, I need this as soon as it launches. So I built out kind of a countdown page where people got to sign up before it came out. And we got about 150 people registered on that list. So I think it turned out well because I kind of identified it and then responded to it and started doing a lot of promo late. But looking back on it, I think I could have got that page out earlier and a much clearer, kind of more compelling reason for people to register early, so that when I launched, I could have come out the gates firing truly on all cylinders. So as much as it was a successful launch, I think if I did a bit more activity up front, it would have been a wildly successful launch and probably absolutely smashed it out of the park. So that was a big bit of learning. And I think the only other thing is the fact that it's really important to know your numbers up front. And what I mean by that is we went out, did what we call an organic launch. So basically put it out to the people that I know, my followers, the people that were on that email list as well. But then you get to a certain point where you need to start to do paid advertising. And some of you have probably seen my ads all over the place, whether it was on Facebook, YouTube. At least I know they're working if you have seen them. But you get to a point where you'll hit your kind of cap on organic, and then you need to switch over to paid advertising to really take the business to the next level. And knowing your numbers is absolutely critical. And I think I had a few surprises there in terms of how much I was investing in the paid advertising versus how much I was getting back out. And so there's this kind of term of what they call ROAS, or return on ad spend. And it's really knowing that and understanding what that actually looks like. So how much money am I having to spend to acquire a customer? And then based on that, based on them buying the actual program or investing with the business, you know, am I getting a 2x return on ad spend, a 3x? Am I breaking even? Am I making a loss? Because sometimes you just kind of want to get it out there, right? You're like, been working hard on this, let me just get it out there. You go out there, you start running ads, and then it's like, actually, is this a business that's breaking even, or is it profitable? Unfortunately, I've been in a position where the business at the moment is profitable, but really early, you're doing a lot of and taking a lot of decisions to invest up front, so that you can set up a great foundation for scale in the future. So, you know, a lot of the profits and the revenues that have come out so far will be reinvested really back into the business to support it to scale. But knowing your numbers, I think, looking back on it, I could have been a little bit tighter and a little bit clearer about knowing them, understanding them, getting all of the metrics and really understanding the model inside out. So it was a heavy lift. I learned an unbelievable amount. Those things are probably just the ones that are top of mind. If you want me to go into any more detail about any of that, feel free to just drop me a DM or leave a note in the comment. I'll be more than happy to go into more detail with you. I think my overall conclusion from all of this, though, is to say an online business is an absolutely phenomenal thing. To kind of be in a position where some days you wake up and you just see an alert from Stripe to say you've just received a payment and you've not actually had to do anything specific is an unbelievable feeling. And of course, I'm really serious about having happy customers and satisfied students. So I've put a lot into making sure that that is also the case. But it's just a great feeling to kind of wake up or just be doing something random through the day, see that ping, and see that you've got a sale, you've got some money in the bank and some revenue. So I would more than recommend it to anyone. I'd just say to make sure that you've kind of done your homework, set out a plan, understand your numbers, and build up a good amount of solid interest before you actually get to the point of launch. As I say, if you've got any questions, drop me a note, drop me a DM, always here to help, and stay tuned for the next one.